Let's cut this brush! Woohoo! Well, man, it feels good to be back at the Runaway Ranch. We have spent the last week on a family vacation on the beach in North Carolina. Much needed, much enjoyed, but we are back at the ranch, back to projects, and back to work. And the weather here has finally starting to cool off just a little bit. The weather's chilling down a little bit. Some of the leaves are starting to fall, so we're getting that little fall vibes here, which feels so good. Just a little refresher and really, really motivating for the new season.
And today we are working on cutting some brush, and thankfully this job has finally gotten a little bit easier for us. So before we bought our property, the area was selectively logged, which just means they take the biggest and most valuable trees, leaving behind a lot of the medium-sized trees. But what comes in after this is a lot of really thick briar and undergrowth. And if you've been watching our videos, you've seen us do a lot of work to try to tame some of this. From our little Ryobi weed whacker brush cutter deal that we have, to using a regular garden tractor lawnmower. And we even hired a contractor to forestry mulch a certain area of our property for a future pasture, but ultimately paying somebody everywhere we need this low growth brush cleared out is not a sustainable option for us. And today we're brush cutting the brush that you see behind us. You see us park our truck there. Last year you saw it just swarmed in the beautiful swamp sunflowers.
But that is not the case this year. It is, to be honest, a mess.
Yeah, we found that those yellow flowers come whenever something's first freshly cut.
So we have a few of them on property this year, but not as many as last year.
So this area has gotten taken over by like some sumac trees and briars and all sorts of nasty stuff, and it's growing out of control.
It's a jungle. And we got a new toy.
It's pretty awesome.
And this is our new Ramy brush cutter. You guys know that we use the four-wheeler a lot here on the property, so we're really excited to have this addition of this Ramy brush cutter here to help us clear some land on the property. This can go through all sorts of type of terrain, tall grass, different brushes, and can even cut trees up to 4 inches, which is pretty cool.
So as you know, we rotationally graze our girls as much as we can, and we are actually moving them over to our new pen for them, where we put them during the day to eat. And we use a new brush cutter to cut in the new fencing over there. It was a lot faster for us, so let's go move the girls over.
Come on, shut it.
This is a new pen area that we set up a few days ago, and you can see how there's the brush that we left for them on this side, then the continuation of the brush to the other side, and I was able to take the cutter right through this and then down the back side of that and then over at the other end. And a job that would have taken us with that little Ryobi brush cutter that we had probably a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours or so by hand between cutting it and raking it, took us under 30 minutes to get all of that done. So huge improvement for us.
Let's cut this brush! Woohoo! what are you doing?
Huh? I am ripping out our Starlink cable that has just become part of this brush pile, but I don't want to cut through it, obviously, so we need to pull it up. And my guess, going through all this brush at the end of the day, I'm just going to be one big chigger bite.
That's why you're dressed up, though, honey.
And then gotta immediately shower once we're done, because I already got them all over my feet and ankles.
I am very curious how many chicken eggs that we're going to squash over when we do this today, because our chickens, our free-range chickens, like to go in here and lay eggs sometimes. Usually we try to look around to make sure that we can collect them before they go rotten, but I don't think that's always the case. So we'll see how many we get. Baby, you're so good at that.
Thanks, honey.
He's so good. Matt is, seriously, he's been practicing with it. I think it's something that you have to do frequently to kind of be able to navigate it well. You know, the four-wheeler's big, the brush cutter's big, and this area is just so gnarly. So he's doing a very, very good job. And as you guys can see, even our ground is uneven. So it's not overly ideal, but look at this behind me.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier about this all being logged, there is just like logging ruts from logging trucks and piles where they put piles of dirt where they push a tree over. So that's what takes some learning on how to navigate the brush cutter. It gets controlled up and down with your winch. So you kind of learn, you're looking at some terrain and bring it up in some parts, put it down in some parts. Obviously, the lower you have it, the lower you're getting the brush. But I mean, this section,
it's awesome!
Probably like a 700 square foot section.
It took us like...
It took us what, 4 minutes?
4 minutes, literally 4 minutes.
And that would have taken us 2 hours with
by hand and miserable.
And miserable, yeah, exactly.
You're so good at it.
Thanks, baby.
Mwah.
How I've been running it is I like to run it for maybe 15 minutes at a time, then like stop, kind of look at everything, clear out any big down trees or anything that are in the way, kind of look at the next chunk that I'm gonna go after, and then go from there. Now, if you were doing more like field brush, you would just
keep
fly
going,
through it. It would be no problem at all. But because we have down logs everywhere and ruts.
But this was literally 4 minutes.
Yep, quick.
You gonna tell him or am I gonna tell him?
Well, if you remember, what was it, last fall, I think, we planted Jeremiah the cedar, and he ceased to exist.
He didn't make it.
I just broke a couple branches and they all feel pretty darn dead. So I think it's time to give him a proper ceremony and cut him down with the brush cutter.
R.I.P. Jeremiah.
He will also be the largest tree that I think I've knocked down so far.
Yeah.
I think he's 2 to 3 inch diameter, so...
He's a big boy.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
R.I.P. He just didn't make it. We'll just plant another tree in his spot that will hopefully make it. Holy moly! That literally took Jeremiah down like nothing. This thing is cool, man. was pretty downhill actually. It was probably like the most slope that we've used. And as long as you have that winch and you can control up and down, it does pretty well being able to go downhill. I'm trying to give you guys as much shots as I can give you just to show you how freaking cool this thing is. But it does fly a bunch of stuff, so you gotta be careful. I don't wanna be hit with a bunch of brush and trees and crap falling behind me as Matt does this. How you feeling?
Good. It's coming right along. If it wasn't for that like hill right there, it'd be going a lot faster, but you kind of have to just take it down. I'm scared I'm going to like bottom it out if I take it going up the hill, and I can't take it sideways because then my
center of gravity.
Yeah, it's gonna potentially flip it. So
and
fine.
It's good
just
to give it a break.
Lapping around, cutting. Just through that section. That top flat section is just flying by though when we're doing that. But I'm gonna do top flat, then the little hill, top flat, little hill. Work our way down, see how far we get today.
But you need to take breaks because the four-wheeler needs a break. You need a break.
She's saying I need the break. Whoa, that sounds different. Had my hearing protection in. I was probably talking like this before.
Y'all can see, even post us doing this, there's a lot of work still to be done. We're gonna have to rake all this brush up, clear it out, make it nice, and hopefully it'll be nice like little grass, or I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but it won't be a jungle anymore, that's all I know. So we are about halfway, maybe 1/4 of the way. 1/4, half? Half.
Depends how far we go.
Yeah, it depends how far we go. I say we're about halfway through clearing this brush. It's no joke to do this. You know, it takes a lot to drive the four-wheeler. The four-wheeler does not have power steering, so that takes a little bit of just energy and time to run it. But it is doing the job. It is going to leave a mess. So that's something we're gonna have to do.
I think we're just gonna pull out like the bigger trees and leave behind the rest just to kind of mulch into it. What I'll probably do is clear through all of this, and maybe in 2 weeks go through it again to kind of tamp down anything that is left behind. It's coming along. It's going good. I mean, it hasn't flinched really at any trees that I've hit into. I don't know that I'm gonna...
And the trees are thick.
Yeah.
Thick. Like
I don't know that I'm gonna have a 4-inch challenge.
I think they're like 4 inches.
No.
All right.
No.
Maybe 3 inches.
Two, maybe 3. Jeremiah was maybe 3.
He was a big dude.
Whew. Taking a quick break here, and I figured I haven't really talked too much about the Ramy in particular and what exactly it is. Ramy is a company that makes these awesome machines out of Finland, actually. They make a flail mower, a brush cutter, and an actual finish mower. And this brush cutter can actually be converted into a finish mower, but the blades that are on this are not meant to be used as a finish mower. It can go through grass and cut just fine, but you're not gonna get that nice perfect cut that a finish mower would give you. While our goat girls might do a pretty good job at clearing some brush, we need to get through some brush quicker and clear some areas to actually run their fence in. And what I really liked about the Ramy and why I reached out to them originally was that it was front mounted. Now I actually have kind of a just old crappy pull behind brush cutter as well that we got from Facebook Marketplace, and it's a lot harder to maneuver. You really zero in on where you want the mower to go, and you have to calculate that you're towing behind something. So if you're working your way around a stump, you need to make sure you're not gonna smash the machine into that. With the brush cutter on the front, it's a lot easier to maneuver when you're clearing thick brush like this and being able to see. Now, it does put a bunch of weight on the front of your ATV. From what they've told me, they don't recommend putting one of these on anything smaller than a 550, I believe it is. Now, we have a Can-Am Outlander 650, so that's right in the area. I'm sure you've seen in the video when I do bring up the brush cutter, it does make the machine squat a bit. I think we could do a suspension upgrade to accommodate that a little bit, and we are considering doing that, but it by no means makes it difficult to handle the ATV, but you definitely, like, you feel that weight up there, and when you get on a little uneven ground, our camera's on the gimbal, I was trying to make it uneven for you, but you'll feel it start tipping if you have that brush cutter up, so you have to be careful with that. But there's not anything that I've come across on the market that does the type of job that this is going to do. Now, with Ramy being based out of Finland, these machines are actually imported by Metsä Machines. I believe they're based out of Wisconsin, and there's distributors for Metsä Machines throughout mostly the northern part of the United States, but you can get them shipped anywhere in the country. Metsä has all sorts of other cool tools like off-roading ATV wagons and commercial grade wood processing machines for cutting and splitting firewood. Now, if you go over to Ramy or Metsä Machines website, you will see that there's a pretty hefty price tag of, I believe it's $5,500 for this machine. But the reason I keep saying the word machine, like this isn't a little lawnmower, guys. Like this is the real deal. It's a pretty heavy duty piece of machinery. And as you've seen today, it can clear some serious land. It can knock down some pretty decent sized trees for just something as simple as a tool to mount on the front of your four-wheeler.
Do you like your new toy?
I do. It's a lot of fun, especially now that I've gotten used to using it. And what you've seen us do through here, if we didn't have stumps, down wood, logs everywhere, I would have been able to fly through what I've done just working on more level, predictable ground. But still, I mean, we've been working through this really quickly today.
We love it.
But with that being said, I think my break is over. Let's
over.
get back to work.
Get back to work.
Which is where we have the goat fence framed to. Clean up right in here, and that's a shit ton of clearing done in a little bit of time.
And something we might have forgotten to mention is that we actually counterweight our Ramy with that toolbox that we have on the back of the four-wheeler. So we put like a couple of cinder blocks in there. I have some of my weights in there, and that helps counterbalance. So all the weight's not in the front, it kind of levels you out nice, which is really, really awesome to have. And like I said, we're so thankful for the four-wheeler and then this tool. Like it's like a game changer. Woo! That's it, baby.
Brush is cut, baby.
We are done, and look how much land there is again.
So you can see the cabin over there. Through there, you can see the goat shelter now. You were never able to see that through the driveway. And all the way down there, you see Ellen, our Starlink dish down there. Pretty freaking awesome.
It's such a cool tool, and I'm so thankful that we have it. Thank you guys for always coming around and hanging out with us here at the Runaway Ranch.
Let's go take a look.